Welcome friends to my kitchen. Bem-vindos à minha cozinha. What am I doing today? I have been somehow thinking about this pie, apple pie, that my mom used to make. We're going into fall, and around this time every year, we would be filled with apples when we were growing up, because my parents had a place that had variety of apples. And my mom used to make this pie, we call. And I've been thinking about that. I've asked my sisters if they have recipe. Nobody has a recipe for it, or they can't find it. So I looked on Pinterest to see if I could find something similar. It's called a slab apple pie. It's made in a big cookie sheet, and it's flat. And it is with apples. And somehow I've been thinking about this, and I have to make it. I've asked my sister, Teresa, if she had the recipe. She says I might. I wanted to make it because I bought a bunch of apples that I wanted to make. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to make a slab apple pie. And that's what we're going to do. But before I do, as we go to fall, I want to do something different. I want to shout out certain people that are commenting on my page, and I'm going to do it throughout my videos. Call out different people. There is one person that has been new. She's a new subscriber to my channel. Her name is Gold Lady 412. She had said wonderful things about my recipes and how a lot of my recipes bring memories of our parents. Hello, Goldie Lady 412. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being a subscriber and for commenting and being part of this new family that I call my YouTube family on my channel, A Taste of Azores with Angela Castro. So anyway, I will be shouting out throughout my videos different people that over the time as comment and somehow or another has helped me, encouraged me to continue to do this, because I cannot do this unless you are supporting me on the other side. So I'm going to try to give a little back to all of you. So thank you, Gold Lady 412, for today, for being part of my family. Anyway, so let's go to our recipe. I'm going to do this on my food processor to make it easier, because I'm trying to make it easier. And this crust needs to rest in the refrigerator for 1 hour. So I'm going to do this first and then put it in the refrigerator, and then I have other videos that I need to do. I'll do that, and then I'll come back for this. So I have 5 cups of all-purpose flour. I have 2.5 cups of cold butter. And that's essential that the butter is cold. I just took out of the refrigerator, and it needs to be very cold. And the difference with this recipe asks for egg yolks. I've never seen a pie with egg yolks, but my mom's pie was flaky, but it was rich. So it kind of made me think maybe she did put egg yolks. I don't know. I need a teaspoon of fine salt. And I'm using salted butter. I always use salted butter. I don't care for unsalted butter. No matter what, I add salt, and for me it always doesn't taste right. And I'm going to put all this butter. I cut it into little cubes, and I'm going to put it all in here, and I'm going to let the food processor do the job. I'm going to pulse this a few times until all that butter is combined. It might take 15 to 20 pulses, we'll see. But I don't know, I've told my sister Teresa, I says, I've been craving that pie. I don't know why. Never thought of that pie that my mom used to make, but she used to make it was in cookie sheets. And it was so delicious. And that has been in my mind. So I bought some apples and I want to make. So I'm going to keep pulsing this. I'm going to check and see how this is looking. Okay, it looks like it's all combined. It looks like a cornmeal, the texture. I don't see no big chunks of butter. Okay, and then we're gonna put the 3 egg yolks into this and combine. I'm gonna crack the eggs. Yeah, there's so many recipes that I think about it that my mom used to make, and now I'm going, where are those recipes? I went to some that she had and I don't see it. And maybe it was something she didn't write it down. Maybe she had that, marked on her head. She remembered and that was it. There was no recipes in those days. And you want these cold eggs. So I'm gonna put all these egg yolks in here and we're gonna mix all this until it forms a dough. Where most recipes, they use cold water, this one asks for the egg yolks. So it's gonna be a little richer dough. Anyway, so we'll see. And it could be, that said 3 large eggs. I'm gonna get 1 more egg because these are from my chickens. Might not be enough 3 egg yolks. So I'm gonna put 1 extra egg. Okay? Because I see a lot of dried flour in here. We're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna get some plastic wrap and we're gonna wrap this dough and we're gonna refrigerate it for 1 hour. I'm gonna divide it into 2 discs because I'm gonna need 2 pieces, 1 for the bottom and 1 for the top. Looks all combined. I'm going to actually pour into this to make it easier to make sure all that butter and that egg is all mixed with everything. All that butter. So form into a disc. I'm going to grab a little bit more. Combine all this into another bowl. This was something my mom used to make because they had a lot of apples, beautiful apples. Now I think about it, I go, oh my gosh. There was so many apples that she would make apple jam and all kinds of different things. And we didn't appreciate it then. And now I think about it, I thought, oh my gosh, how good those would have been right now. And I don't know why I have that apple. I guess maybe because we're going to fall, but I've thought about that apple pie. And it was so good because it was thin, but you had, so every bite you got a crust, every bite you got some apples, and it was thin. It was not like you had a lot of apples or a lot of thick crust. So, okay, I got my 2 discs, and I'm gonna put this in a refrigerator to chill for 1 hour. Okay, friends, it's been over an hour, and I chopped all my, oh, there's a couple. I chopped all my apples. I have here Granny Smith and Honey Crisp apples. I use about, I think 6 or 7 Granny Smith and then 3 or 4 of the Honey Crisp. And I already put some lemon juice so they don't turn it brown. So I have another 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and lemon zest. I see 1 seed. Okay. So I'm gonna mix all this, and then I'm gonna roll my, I have a cup of sugar. I need a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Okay, and then all the spices. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. I know these are things that my mom probably didn't use, but this is a recipe I found and it's similar. So I'm gonna use this recipe. This is something I found. Allspice, 1/4 teaspoon, which is about almost what I have here. That's it. And this. Then some nutmeg. I need also 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. And then ginger, 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. And then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you like more cinnamon, you can add more cinnamon. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons. Okay, 1 and a 2. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of vanilla. Maybe it doesn't ask the recipe. Maybe a tablespoon of vanilla. And I'm going to mix all this. And then I'm going to roll. So when this is sitting here, all those flavors are blending in. I'll roll my dough. I think this is going to give me, I have 2 cookie sheets here, a big one and a smaller one. But I'm going to see if it'll fit all in one. But it doesn't bother me if it has extra. See, I can see already those flavors. There's sugar already forming. I'm going to roll my dough on parchment paper. And the reason is that way I already know more or less the size. Yeah, my dough is chilled. I'm gonna hit my dough for a little bit so it kind of presses down and start shaping because it's very cold. I took this one out already, so it'll be easier to roll. When it's too cold, it'll be hard. I'm gonna put this other paper on top and try to roll it. Take it a little bit sooner out of the refrigerator before you roll it. If the butter's too cold, it'll be hard to roll. I'm gonna roll all this and then I'll show you. I already sprayed my pan and I roll as thin as possible that I could. And I used another parchment paper to make it easy to roll. And I'm gonna flip this on top and then try to flip the paper over, because this is so big, so we'll see. Okay, and this is how it's gonna be. And then some spots, if it needs, we can go back and add more. Okay. And I'm gonna chill this because this butter is getting soft. I'm gonna try to stay off this border. So I'm gonna chill it for that butter to stay cold. And if there's any break it in the bottom, just push it together. Okay? By using the parchment paper, it doesn't break. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator and unroll the other one. Okay friends, I rolled my second dough and now I'm gonna assemble my slab apple pie. I'm gonna poke some holes on my bottom dough so it doesn't get soggy. So it has some vents to vent it out. Otherwise, if you don't, the apples will get soggy. It'll make the bottom crust soggy. Okay, and now we're gonna put all these apples, spread it between all of this pie, all this crust. And I'm gonna put as much as possible. Okay, I want to fill it up. This is an apple pie for a crowd. Taking as much apples and leaving the juice. And the juice, I'm gonna put a little bit more cornstarch just to thicken up a little bit. I have my oven preheated at 350. There's all this liquid. I want to add a little bit more cornstarch. And in this recipe, it does not ask for butter to dot it with butter. Okay, so I want to thicken that and then drizzle over all these apples. That way it makes a thicker crust. I mean a thicker middle. Okay. Make sure there's apples everywhere. I don't want no spot without apples. And then I'm gonna remove this layer. Keep using the parchment paper. You'll be able to manage this. I'm gonna roll it and then unroll it when I'm here. So that way it does not break. Okay, try to seal. My mom was not perfect. It was very rustic. And I love that because some of those juices would seep out and then they would caramelize. It was so good. Okay. And if you don't have, I already have some little cracks on top. If you don't have it, make sure you do some slits so it vents it out. But because I have this, I'm gonna try to smooth it out with the parchment paper because my hands are hot and it starts melting. But if you use the parchment paper, it kind of smooths it out. And then I'm gonna brush with an egg wash and cream. 1 egg I used yesterday, and I'm gonna put a little bit of cream. And I'm gonna brush the top. So now I'm gonna brush the top with this cream and egg. I'm also gonna get some raw sugar and put it on top so the top is crispy. My mom didn't do it, but, or maybe she did. Maybe she just used regular sugar. I thought it was crispy on top. Maybe she did. But I know what I like. So I'm gonna sprinkle some of this carbonado sugar, raw sugar, so it crisps up. And this is going, I have my oven at 350. This is gonna go between an hour to an hour and a half. It depends your ovens. Okay. And then I'm gonna just poke some holes on top just to vent it out. Here it is, my slab apple pie. I'll show you when it's done. Okay friends, here it is, my slab apple pie. And my gosh, I wish you could smell this house. It smells so good. And I'm so glad I put a cookie sheet underneath because it drained, it spilled. But I'm gonna let, oh my gosh, this is exactly what my mom looked like. So I'm gonna let this cool here for at least an hour before I cut it, because this is too hot to eat, and if I cut it, it'll just fall apart. My mom, you could eat with your hands, and we would eat cold. It was cold. I think this one I put too much fruit. My mom had very little fruit. That's why hers was so thin and it was so good. But at least if I know that I establish something close to it, next time I make it, I put less fruit. I always want more. But sometimes certain things, less is more. Anyway, so this is bringing memories for me as a kid. And I can't tell you what this does to my heart. Anyway, so if you have access to apples, make some like this, especially for a big gathering. You make some like this. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to bake at 350. I didn't want it too much color, so I let it cook low and slow. And it's gonna stay here. And like I said, the day after, it's even better because it's cold, you can eat it, holding it. Here I did another one. Anyway, until next time, let's get cooking. Have a good day.